This one question I received in the last couple of months more than 120 times. And it's the question, Marcel, how can I learn native advertising? How can I learn to run ads profitably on platforms like Taboola or Outbrain? And in this video, we will take a look on it. I will share you a little bit of my experience, and I will also share with you the bad news about learning native advertising. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Marcel Sattler. I'm the founder of Pebble Black, a native advertising only agency. So what we're doing is we run native ads on a daily basis on traffic platforms like Taboola, Outbrain, Yahoo Gemini, and many, many more. But it was not always the case. A decade ago, I started with Facebook marketing, with Facebook ads, Google ads, and just typical online marketing stuff. But unfortunately, I saw very, very soon that I can't go forward with those platforms because I run a few black hat or gray hat campaigns there. So get always account bans. And it was a very big pain in the ass for me because I'm not just media buy anymore. I just fighting with those platforms, with the Facebook support, with the Google support about getting my accounts back to me. By the way, if you want to see my complete story, I've recorded for that a separated video, so check it out here on YouTube. But soon I understand that I need to change my way, I need to change my approach, and that's where I came in contact with native advertising. So on my first steps with native advertising, I lost a lot of money because I thought, okay, I know how Facebook ads are working, I know how Google ads are working, I know how to run a YouTube campaign and so on. But I did not understand that native advertising is a completely different beast. So I just started with it and lost a lot of money until I understood, okay, native advertising might work a little bit different because you have to understand that media buying is not media buying, especially not in online marketing. Unfortunately, platforms on social are very similar. So you might thinking that you can run almost on every platform, almost on every traffic source out there, a profitable campaign, but that's not the case. So for example, if you can run Facebook ads, you might also be run TikTok ads because the interface is almost the same and so on. On Google, it's very similar if you run a, Google display campaign or a YouTube campaign, so it's all Google ads. But on native, you have completely different interfaces. You have completely different funnels. You're working with advertorials, not just with direct linkings. You have another audience and so on. So it's a completely different thinking, and it's not an algorithm thinking because you have to do a lot of things like media buying manually because the algorithms on native traffic sources like Taboola or Outbrain are not so smart like on other big major traffic sources like Facebook or Google. So after I lost a few $100 of money, I checked out how to learn native advertising, how to learn Taboola, how to learn Outbrain and so on. And I literally searched the whole web about courses, about stuff where to learn it. And yeah, I didn't find anything legit. I just found one course in the past, and when I started with native, it already was a very outdated course, but it was the only course which was available, and it was a course from James van Elswyk on iStack. So that was the only one, but as I mentioned before, also already a few years ago, the course was very outdated, and it's even more outdated today. So before you search it on Google and try to buy it, I don't recommend to buy it because native advertising in the past couple of years are working completely different from nowadays. So please don't buy this course. I didn't recommend it because it's very outdated yet. So this was the one and only resource out there I found. And then I tried to understand why. So I get to events, I spoke with people who were a little bit long in the business, and first of all I saw there are not a lot of people who are inside native advertising. Just a few people who really scale native ads profitably, and even less of those people are talking with you very open about their learnings, about how native is working, because they're just driving their own data-driven thing, and yeah, so they're not all of them are very open. But I understand very fast that you have to learn native advertising by yourself. And unfortunately, it's much more complicated because if you're one single media buyer, you don't have a big team in your back. So you don't have a copywriting team, you don't have a technical team which cares about the tracking, you don't have a media buying team, you don't have a creative team, and so on. So if you're one single media buyer, you have to learn everything by yourself, which is extremely complicated because just, for example, copywriting is its own business for itself. Same with media buying, same with creatives, and so on. So for a native advertising traffic buyer, you have to jump into different roles, especially if you're just a one-man show or a two-man show. And that makes things complicated because you have to talk about so many things on native. It's not just the media buying, it's not just setting the bids, it's not just setting audience correctly up, it's not just, I don't know, upload a few images. It's the whole thing. You have to understand it first, then you have to create it. You have to know which headlines you use. You need a feeling for that. You need a lot of experience because you have to know what's working, what's not. You have to know, for example, in the headline, which words you have to avoid because they will be blocked on platforms like Taboola or Outbrain. So you need the know-how, you need the experience, but you also need a lot of creativity to get ideas, to get new ideas, to get more knowledge about how to solve problems there. And that's why native advertising is so complicated. So long story short, there are many things which I can talk a lot of. For example, headlines, for example, images, creatives, landing pages, and so on. So if I talk about every specific thing in detail, I think I would sit in the next 3 hours just here recording this video. But long story short, it's very, very hard to learn native advertising. If you want to learn, I just can recommend you to take care about many details in copywriting, which is a very important part. You have to know about bids, about manual bidding, and so on. So you need, at the one hand side, a creativity mind, but on the other hand side, you need a lot of data-driven mind. And if you want to start it by your own, you need a lot of money. Because native advertising in testing means you need money. Because it doesn't make sense if you just have $200 and try to scale up a native advertising campaign. You need much, much more money to scale a campaign or just to try it, to be honest. So it's not the same or it's not comparable with spendings on Facebook. You need more money, and if you don't have it, and if you're jumping from one corner to the other because a traffic source like Taboola is spending $200 without any conversions, you might have a problem. So let's jump to a quick conclusion. And unfortunately, I think it's not the conclusion which you was hoping for, because there is no legit course out there. There's no real way to learn native advertising. Stop. Instead of my channel, of course. No, but jokes aside, here on my channel, on my YouTube channel, you find a lot of things about native advertising. But look, we are an agency, so I don't will get into a lot of details here. It's just scratching on the surface because I don't have the time for that, and it's our business model, to be honest. So it's a valuable information source for you if you want to get more about, or if you want to get learnings about native advertising. But I don't record here courses on YouTube. And by the way, I don't offer a course, so I don't have anything or any offer like that. And unfortunately, there is no offer out there. So you have to learn it by your own. But that just makes sense if you have the money. So if you have a few hundred or a few $1,000, to be honest, a few $1,000 by your side to set it up as a test budget. If you want to learn it really very hard because you're completely fucked off from platforms like Facebook or Google, then it makes sense to try it by your own. But I also have some good news because I really want to help people. And I mentioned before, I will not record here a complete course on YouTube because it's not our business model and I don't have the time for it. But if you, or if a big audience here on YouTube say, okay, I want to learn more about native advertising. And if you're one of those guys, please write it in the comments below. And maybe my team and I thinking about some possibilities and ways to help you, because I think native advertising is a very big opportunity and it's a blue ocean market. So if you guys are a lot of people out there who want to learn native from scratch, write it in the comments below, and who knows, maybe my team and I will support you. And to be honest, I don't have any product or so yet, but who knows, maybe we found some ways to support you. So I hope you liked this video, and I would be extremely appreciated if you follow my channel here on YouTube to learn more about native advertising, to learn more about traffic sources like Taboola and Outbrain. And of course, if you subscribe to my channel, you get automatically notified by YouTube when I upload a new video about native advertising. I hope you see us in the next video. Have a good one.